everyone. Welcome back to the second episode of Pep Talks with Megan De La Concha. I hope that all of you were able to catch the first episode. If not, that's okay. I welcome you to this second episode. The first one was just an introduction as to what to expect when it comes to pep talks and just the kinds of things that we're going to be discussing here and the purpose that this podcast is serving. Today is August 24th, and I am honoring my oldest son as it is his birthday today. He is 8 years old, and like every parent out there says, time flies. It goes by so fast, and it truly, truly, truly does. I can't believe he's 8 years old, and he is one of the sweetest, one of the most caring, one of the most empathetic and sympathetic boy, 8-year-old that I have ever even met. And he is just amazing. He has such an amazing spirit, and he has such an amazing soul. And I'm truly, truly, truly blessed to have him. Just a short story behind him and his birth. I always say that he saved my life. And in retrospect, I also saved his. As far as not a life or death situation, but saved it in the sense of giving the chance and giving him the opportunity and myself the opportunity to live our best life. My oldest is not my husband's child. He is a product of a previous relationship. And it was a very, very, very toxic situation. And I 100% believe that God allowed me and blessed me with this child because that was the only way that I moved out of the situation, that I got out of that situation that I had been in for 7 years. And I wasn't strong enough to do it myself. But when you have a kid, whether you're a dad, whether you're a mom, or whether you're a guardian, an aunt, an uncle who's taking care of somebody who you love, or a friend, you find some strength that you never knew that you had, and you act in ways that you didn't ever think that you were able to act, or, again, had the strength and the courage and the bravery to act upon. But there was no freaking way that my son was going to grow up in the situation into what he was born into. And I was going to teach him a better way. And that was, first of all, setting an example for him, and also being the example and giving him and showing him the example of just what a true human is and how they treat other people, especially women. And I know that this move out of this relationship brought him and myself into a beautiful, happy, healthy home that just nurtures his growth every single day. So thank you, Jesus, every day. He truly, truly changed my life. And he made me do things and go for things and strive for things that I probably would not have done on my own. So it was all in the name of him. I know this is kind of weird, but to honor his birthday, I'm actually going to talk about guilt, and especially mom guilt. Now, for all of you dads out there, or men, uncles, grandfathers, who are listening and or watching, before you click the channel, before you get out, just know that this also applies to you. I'm using the term mom guilt because I'm a mom, but I know dads go through this too. I know male guardians go through this as well. And also, if you have a partner in your life, if your wife, if your girlfriend, if your baby mama, if they are going through this, this is also a great podcast to just become aware. And you can learn something from this podcast to make you a better support system, because about 100% of moms, maybe I won't even go that far. 99.9% of moms experience some type of mom guilt. And that's just because of the normal pressures that we put on ourselves. And not just as an individual, and not just as a woman, and not just as a wife, but as a mom. You know, we have our motherhood has its own set of pressures and its own comparison syndrome. And with everything else, we can get so wrapped up in that as well. So I am here to talk about that mom guilt. And it's just going to be my own story. So I definitely deal with mom guilt. I deal with the regular, I'm not doing enough. I'm not reading to my kids enough. I give them too much screen time. I don't spend enough time with them, quality time of doing arts and crafts. And let me tell you guys something. I am not an arts and crafts person. I don't even know how I passed arts and crafts in the kindergarten. I it's just not my thing. It's not my jam. I'm not creative in that sense. And to be completely honest, I'm exhausted all the time. And I know most of you guys are out there are. And it's like the last thing I want to do is do something with Play-Doh that I know I'm going to have to pick up. I don't want to do slime. I don't want to do bubbles. I just don't want to do it. So yeah, I'm not great. I mean, I'll color, and I like coloring. I like semi sort of drawing of stick figures and stick houses, and I can draw a pretty mean palm tree and a beach. That's been my go-to for so many years. So I will do that. But getting back to the point, we always feel like we're not doing enough for our kids, or we should have them enrolled in this, and they should be doing 3 different sports, and they should be socializing more, and we should be throwing these huge grandiose parties that we can't even afford and that they're not even really going to remember. So those are just the normal feelings of guilt that we experience on an everyday basis. The guilt that I feel, especially with my oldest son, came down to the fact of, one, I felt, notice the word felt. I felt guilty that I didn't bring my son into a beautiful, loving, in contact home. Immediately, he was brought into a separation where he'll always know, this is dad and this is mom. This is dad's house. This is mom's house. And I'm thankful that he didn't have to go through the experience of having his parents split and truly feel those emotional effects on him. So I am thankful for that. And I am thankful because this was hands down the best thing that could have ever happened in his life and my life. And though he might not understand that now, as he gets older, he's going to have those questions. And I am ready and willing to explain it to him, and without the emotion, without the anger, without the bitter, because at the end of the day, it is still his father. And I need to maintain a level of respect when I speak to him about his dad. But I will be telling the absolute truth, and I will not be sugarcoating anything. And you know what? That's also a discussion that his dad's going to have with him. So, with all of that aside, um, I no longer feel guilty about that. I mean, that didn't take me a long time to get over. I got over that pretty quickly. Just knowing that his life is more fulfilling and is just better in general and is full of love and respect. But the first 2 years of his life, I was still in this toxic situation, and it was just getting worse, and it was getting worse. And I was in such, I can't even explain it enough. I was in such inner turmoil that I could not get outside of myself. I physically could not, it hurt to breathe some days. I was so incredibly crippled by anxiety and depressed. And I was not able to be present. And this makes me emotional still. I was not able to be aware and in the moment for a lot of early moments, early memories, walking, crawling. When I look back at pictures of him, because I took a lot of pictures, thank God, um, I don't have emotions sometimes. I don't remember, and that kills me. It devastates me, and I feel a lot of guilt because this was my baby boy. This was my firstborn. I should, these moments and these memories should be carved into my head, and I never realized that I really felt all of this until my second kid. Because of the place that I'm in today, and I have an almost 2-year-old, um, every moment I have with him is so vivid and it's so clear because I'm healed and I can be in the moment and I can be aware with him and I can be vulnerable with him. And I look back at pictures, even though he's just 2, I still look back at pictures and I can get those same feelings or, oh my gosh, I remember that so vividly. And I don't have that with my 8-year-old. And you know how crappy that makes me feel? I understand that it wasn't necessarily a choice to be in a toxic and mentally and an emotionally abusive relationship. Um, However, I feel guilty and I feel responsible and I feel ashamed. And I feel like I've done my son a disservice because how did that affect him? I feel way more bonded to my second child. That's also because of a conglomerate of different things. Number one, I'm a totally different person. Number two, I am happy and healthy not only in myself, but three, I'm happy and healthy in my relationship with an amazing husband. I have a happy and healthy and a solid home and a solid foundation. So, yes, I'm a totally different person. And I breastfed this one, and I don't know if that has anything to do with it really, but I can't dismiss it. I did not breastfeed my first child. There was no way. I don't even think I produced milk, you guys. I was so stressed and so anxious. Um, but I feel like and I know kids have different personalities. I get that. But it's how I feel internally. Now, trust me, the love for both of my children is 100% the same. And anyone who has multiple children, 2 or more, will definitely agree to this. The love you have for your kids is the same, but it's just a different type of love for each individual kid because they're all different and their love language is different and they react differently to certain things. And some of them are really, really cuddly and some of them are not. And you learn how they communicate and what their love language is. And that's one of the beautiful things about parenting is we're learning all the time. But I feel that there's a disconnect with my first and my second because of being in one completely different world versus being in an entirely different world with my second one. So I was in one total, I mean, I was in a different body when I had my firstborn, and I'm in such a different place with my second. So I feel like that's my fault. And as a result of that, as a result of my guilt, I started to, once I was out of that relationship or situation, as I like to call it, I started to overcompensate. I started to overcompensate by, I disciplined, but I know that I just didn't discipline efficiently or effectively because I felt so riddled with guilt that I just wanted to shower him with love and overcompensate. And I really built up that ego of I'm mom and I'm dad, so I have to do this, and it's exhausting. And I came up with a lot of excuses, but it was really my guilt that was driving my relationship with my son. I love him dearly, always have. But I'm here to vulnerably admit to you guys, it wasn't true, natural, pure love that was driving my relationship with him. It was guilt at the forefront. Love, of course, was behind it. If I didn't care about him, if I didn't love him, I wouldn't feel guilty about it. I'd be like, oh, I don't really care. But I also had this new life, and I was healing. I was going to therapy. I was really doing a lot of work on myself. I had put myself back in school to get my master's degree. I was living with my parents in a totally different county. I was working from home at the time. I was in the beginning stages of literally trying to not even pick up the bricks, but trying to compile a brick to put back on and build a foundation. So I was lost, and I was trying to rebuild, and then I was also trying to maintain a healthy atmosphere for my son. And so as you can see, I wasn't totally there for him. Thank you God for my parents, because they're the most loving parents in the world, and they were so supportive and so encouraging. And the times that I could not be there for him mentally, they were. But I still feel guilty, like I should have been there. And I feel that a lot of moms go through that. I should be there. I should be strong enough to do this. I should handle everything on my own. I am woman. Hear me roar. I'm just showing my age there. Okay? With that quote. But I feel that we have and we live by such a pressure to be literally perfect. We know we're not the perfect woman. We know we're not the perfect wife. So why do we feel like we have to be the perfect mom? Because we feel that the responsibility is all ours. And society hasn't really done us, justice in making that okay to be an imperfect mom. I think that society is constantly throwing crap in our faces of, get your kid on this program, get your kid involved in this. You should be doing this. You are a mother, you put your bandana on or roll up your sleeves and get your hands dirty. But then they want to flip the script and say, oh, but take care of yourself. Get a bath, get a 30-minute bath, go work out, go do yoga. Go have, brunch and coffee with your friends and martinis after work. But you had also better figure out how to clone yourself, because you better be home cleaning up the poop, cleaning up the toys, feeding the kids. And I've heard, I don't know if this is a saying or not, but I've heard people go, oh, my moms will go with holes in their underwear just so their kids can have it all. No, and absolutely not. Absolutely not. And this goes back to, we've all heard it when you get on an airplane and they're going over the instructions, the emergency instructions, and that oxygen mask drops down. What the heck do? You put it on your friggin' self first. Because without you, What are your kids? You can't help anybody else around you. So feeling guilty about not being the best and the perfect is just again, it's a load of crap. And what we need to start doing is shifting our minds away from this guilt because the guilt takes us out of the moment. When you're feeling guilty about things, you're thinking about all the things that you quote unquote should be doing instead of focusing on what you are doing. Instead of saying to yourself, I'm a badass MFer mom. And this is the way I run my household. And this is what I feed my kids. And this is what I do. And we're happy and we're healthy. And we talk and we cry and we laugh. No, we do not have game night every night. No, I do not do arts and crafts with them. But I encourage them to do it. I teach them. I educate them. I'm here. I'm present. If they're crying, if they're hungry, if they just want to talk to me, I'm here. I'll sit down and watch Mickey Mouse Club. 5 episodes in, I'm still watching. Let me get some popcorn. Okay? Let me get another cup of coffee because we about to finish up this season. That's right. That guilt keeps us away from actually being the best parent that we can be. We feel so, it's such an oxymoron. We feel so guilty about not feeling like we're the best parent that the guilt is actually taking us away from being the best parent. Because let me tell you guys, you've got this. Your physical presence, your mental presence is what they're going to remember. That's what they're going to remember. You being there. You are enough. You are doing enough and you cannot do it all. You can't. Why do you think there's nannies? Why do you think there's housekeepers? Why? Because nobody can do it all. So give yourself a break. Forgive yourself. If you feel, like how I felt, that there was it wasn't just a moment in time that I lost it on my kids and, maybe I said some choice words or, it wasn't just a moment in my life. It was a whole 2 to 3 years. And I've been carrying that around with me. And recently, because I didn't really honestly realize that I had this guilt, I didn't realize what was driving my actions with my son until my second son was born, or really till I got pregnant. And then I had to deal with that all over again. And I had to learn to be like, whoa, hold the phone. Hang on. There's no room for this here. I'm a damn good mother in the way I mother. Because I know I am there for my kids. I care for my kids. I love them with every ounce of me and more. I take care of them in the way they need to be taken care of. And you know what? No. Sometimes it's Chef Boyardee. Sometimes it's pizza. Sometimes it's 2 hours of screen time, 4 hours of screen time. Sometimes it's no screen time. But we do walks, we do family outings when I can do it. And I don't feel guilty about it at all. And I've learned to show myself the compassion and the kindness that I need, that I needed to be shown. I've learned to forgive myself. And I'll share a little tip. One of the things I did was I wrote myself a letter. And this actually goes for anybody. You can, I highly recommend you do it to yourself. But you can this is a tool for practicing forgiveness. An effective way of practicing forgiveness. I wrote myself a letter as if I were writing it to one of my best friends who had come to me and said, I feel all this guilt because of this, this, and this, because of A, B, and C. And I wrote them a letter as to what I would say to them, which is, Girl, you got to let this go. You are amazing. You are a strong, amazing woman. Look at the example that you're setting for your sons. They are going to know what a strong ass woman looks like, and they're not going to settle for a weak woman. They're not. They're going to go for a strong woman who respects herself, who has dignity, who has morals, who has values. And they're also going to know how to treat that woman. That's what you're teaching them. Look at the role model, how you treat others, your business, your work ethic, how you can learn to say, no, not right now. No, I got things I got to do. And also how you do make the time for them. Even if it's just tickling them, playing monster for 2 seconds, looking at them in their face, getting down on the ground with them, and just sit with them. Sit with them for an episode of something, one of their favorite shows. Play a quick game with them. Just be present. Look at yourself. You're amazing. You're doing so much. And then what I did was I signed that letter, and then I crossed out the name, or I left the name blank, and then I put my name in there and I read it back to my own self. And I forgave myself to say, that's a bunch of nonsense. You got to let go of this guilt. You got to forgive yourself if you feel guilty. And you got to stop dwelling on the things that you feel you're not doing. Stop dwelling or thinking in your mind that you're not adequate enough, that you're an inadequate mother, because hell no, you are not at all. Not one bit. That is a lie, a lie, a lie. And if you got to write it down and post it on a sticky note and put it up on your mirror or wherever you can see it, in your purse, wherever, whatever you look at every single day to remind yourself how amazing you are and how your kids are lucky to have a mom like you, then do it. We gotta come away from this guilt because it's taking us away from what's actually happening. And then you're gonna feel guilty about that. And yeah, as you can see, it's a hamster wheel. It just cycles and it cycles and it cycles and it cycles. So my message to you today is you heard my story of how I feel guilty, and I guarantee almost every single one of you, unless you're a real hater, which those are present in the world, would say to me and comment to me, Megan, you can't feel guilty about that. You did the best that you absolutely could, and your best is enough. Your best is enough during those 2 years, and it's enough now. And it's enough going forward for the rest of his life, the rest of the time that I am blessed to be his mom. It's enough. So that's what I'm saying to you. Give yourself the time, the grace, the compassion to forgive yourself and turn that guilt into the truth. Turn it into the truth, which is that you're an amazing mom. You're an amazing dad. You're an amazing guardian. You do enough every single day. You do enough. Your kids are going to be just fine. They are, because they have you as a mother. So start giving yourself the praise that you deserve. Start giving yourself that pat on the back that you need every single day, because you got you and your kids got you. Let go of the guilt and start being in the moment and start living your best mom life. I am out. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Comment below. Follow me on IG, Megan, MEGN, DLC _ Facebook, Megan De La Concha, and soon to come, megandelaconcha.com. I hope to see you guys next episode. Ta-ta for now.